Hey folks, Ash here from being SWENGLISH, and with summer here, everybody's jumping into the forests with their kids, having a whole lot of fun. But there is one thing to be really careful of in the forests here, and I never as a kid experienced this really, but they're called ticks. Now in the UK I don't ever recall having one of these, but since we moved to Sweden in the last year and a half, we've had to deal with 2 of them. So ticks are tiny little insects. They're really solid. They're like metallic almost, because they're just impossible to destroy. And when you're walking in long grass or in the forest, or you're on your, around on your knees and rolling around like kids do of course, then these little things can attach to you and they start digging in. And once they dig in, they can then cause a whole lot of infections and irritations and itchiness. Now if your kid does get one of these, it's highly unlikely that they'll actually know that they've got one, because you don't necessarily see them at first. But when it's bath time, if you've been in the forest that day, just really thoroughly check. There are lots of recommendations on the way to remove them. If you Google, you'll find a million different suggestions, twisting them, pulling them. But the most important thing is to get them out in one piece, because if you snap them off, then you leave the bad bits stuck in there. The method I read is that you put the tweezers on them and pull directly up, never twist. You can also do things like apply an ice cube and oil and stuff, but as I say, I don't remember for sure. Look at that lovely little brown squirrel. So many beautiful things in the forests here. So just a tip really, I know that on those hot days it feels like the wrong idea to do this, but if you are going out, wear long sleeve tops and put them in trousers, because at least that way it reduces the chance of these little things hooking onto your children. Doesn't remove the possibility, but it certainly makes it less possible. Just another tip as well, I do remember that when we pulled them out last year, the thing was still wiggling and in perfect condition, so despite pulling it directly out and upwards with tweezers with quite some force, the thing was still alive and unharmed. So don't just like fling it away expecting it to just die. Dispose of it properly, ideally under a brick or something like that, just in case. And another thing to bear in mind is that ticks don't just like the taste of children. Check yourself as well. And if you've got hairy legs like me, then they can be quite hard to spot. But just make sure that you do thoroughly check yourself, because it's not just kids at risk here. They're quite nasty little things. In fact, I remember I was in Båstad just a few weeks ago, and they even had a vaccination booth there where you could get an ad hoc vaccination. That was really impressive. So if you're in a nice Swedish summery type place, look out for a booth like that where you can hopefully get yourself protected. Look at this crazy boy. No fear.
Hey yo!
So hopefully this is a useful video. Comment below if you've had any experience with ticks. And also if you have any suggestions or recommendations that are not just random Google, but ideally those from a medical profession on how to remove them. I hope this video was useful. Give it a thumbs up, and if you enjoy this content, hit the subscribe button. I'm going to make sure he gets off that safely. Hey do!